You are listening to the Bug School podcast, powered by Back School of Tech. It's not about code, it's about clarity.
Let me tell you about Tomi. Tomi is a product designer, and she is the kind of a person that notices things other people ignore. And I don't mean big dramatic things, I mean small things. Things like the way someone pauses before clicking the button, or how people don't complain, they just leave, or how someone sighs quietly when a page doesn't make any sense. And that's the kind of product designer Tomi is. Now, if you met her outside, you probably wouldn't guess she works in tech because she doesn't look like the stereotype. She's not always talking about code or startup or products or even the latest tool. Tomi is calm, she's observant, the kind of a person that listens more than she speaks. And somehow that became our superpower. Tomi didn't grow up saying, I want to be a product designer. In fact, the first time she heard the word UX, she thought it was one of those tech words people just throw around. She thought design was simple, make it fine, make it beautiful, and that's it. And that was the idea until our first real job. That was when everything changes. Our first week at the company was really strange. On Monday, she expected someone to hand her a design task. Like, yeah, okay, make this screen look better, or make this design look better. But that's not what happened. Instead, she was invited into a meeting. She sat down with a notebook, quiet, just watching. Then the product manager started talking. People are not finishing the sign up. That was the issue. Now, an engineer replied, the feature works. I tested it. As an engineer, so far it works, we're fine. And someone else added that we keep getting messages, but users are confused. Confused. You see, the confusion was where the actual thing came up. And Tommy sat there thinking, wait, people don't leave because it's not pretty. People leave because they don't understand. So later that day, our manager walked over to a desk. He didn't say design something, he said something else. He said, Tomi, can you help us see what we are missing? That sentence got her attention, and that was exactly the job. So the next morning, Tomi did something unexpected. She didn't really even work on any design. She opened the products and she pretended she had never seen it before. She clicked slowly. She read every word. She followed the steps like a stranger, like someone who is just using it for the first time. And then she noticed it. The sign-up page wasn't hard, but it was loud. Too many options, too many questions too early, too many decisions for someone who just wanted to click a button and then just move ahead. So it felt like walking into a building and nobody's telling you where the door was, and there are like several doors. You know how confused you get. So Tomi asked the simple question, what is the user trying to do in this moment? Not what the company wants, not what the team built, not what the developer coded, what the person wants. And the answer was extremely clear. They just want to start, they just want to click and move. Now, that week, Tomi didn't do anything dramatic. So she didn't design anything, like I said. She only made small changes. She removed one extra button. She changed a confusing sentence into a very simple one. She moved the important action to the top. She made the page quieter and extremely clear. And after all that, The entire section was rebuilt, and 2 weeks later, the complaints about the confusion had reduced. People stopped dropping off halfway, the sign-up numbers improved, and no one talked about anything, but it was a progress because Tommy smiled to herself because she knew exactly what happened. She knew what she was able to fix. And that is exactly what a product designers do, or part of what product designers do. So they don't just sit down and start designing things. They don't just try to design, spend days trying to make something better. They are very observant. They notice the moment a user feels stupid, and they fix the product so the user doesn't feel that way again. And these are, I'm sure in one way or the other, you would have seen some mobile applications around you where you try to access it and then you just get confused, you get frustrated, and then you just drop it. Even up to now, I'm still struggling with this Amazon Prime Video. I don't know why, but it's just one of a kind for me. The fact that they are using the same entire UI UX process all through their products, it gives me a headache. Not that the product is bad, no. It's just something that I find difficult to deal with. But you get what I'm driving at. So here I'm going with that. So Tomi's job isn't always peaceful. Some days she's gonna have to fight for clarity because in tech, everybody wants to add a new feature, a new button, and a lot of things. And Tomi is often the one saying, do we really need this? What happens if we remove it? Is this helping the user or helping us feel busy? So as a product designer, there are so many things that you would have to be preventing. And sometimes even as a user, when you use a product, you just come across a product and then you used it yesterday, and a few days after you open it, you're seeing something new and you're like, what is this? We don't need it. So we don't need it. The job of a product designer is to make something simple and usable. Simple and usable. And sometimes most people used to feel like a product designer's job is just to move things around. It's not always like that, because it's about spending hours thinking about human behavior before you can do anything. You have to sit with user pains. You have to carry the responsibility of making things feel effortless, because good designs feels invisible. When it works, nobody notices it. Yeah. But when it fails, everyone notices it. And that is exactly what Tomi does as a product designer. So if you're a product designer, you might not be the loudest person in the room because you have to be observing. You have to be, in fact, you are going to be the only reason why the meeting makes sense, because you have to observe literally everything that goes on. And whatever you input into the product is what the entire team would have to sit through. So most people sometimes don't really understand what product designers do, but this is a brief on what a product designer do. So this is the Bug School, and this is season 2, People Behind the Skills.